You are live.
We're going to call the meeting for Akron City Council to order. Clerk will read the roll.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Kamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Here.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville,
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
All members are present.
Thank you so much. At this time, I'm just going to ask if we could please have a moment of silence. We are saddened that we have heard that Mr. Phil Maynard has passed away today. Phil Maynard, a community leader, a mentor to many, a business owner, and a philanthropist. Truly a champion of many nonprofits in the city of Akron and Summit County and beyond. And so we will truly miss him, and we want to keep his family in our prayers. So at this time, I'm just going to ask if we have a moment of silence for Mr. Phil Maynard and just reflect upon his life and his legacy here in the city of Akron. Thank you so much. At this time, we will be led in prayer by Dave Beasley from Love Akron. Immediately following our prayer, we're going to be led in the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm going to ask if Councilman Neal would be so kind to lead us.
Good evening. Will you join me in prayer, please? Thank you. Dear God, we thank you so much for each member of this city council. Father, we know that they are appointed by you. They have a sacred duty. And we pray for your blessings upon them. We pray for wisdom for them. Each one as they make important decisions each meeting. Father, we lift them up to you. Father, we just also pray for the people of Akron. We pray that we can be a shining beacon on the hill. We pray that the people of Akron would flourish and thrive, that we would do good to one another, that we would be kind and civil, that we would respect one another, and we would respect authorities. We pray your blessings upon the people of Akron, Father. We pray also for unity at this time, across races, across generations, Father, economic statuses. We pray that you would provide unity. Father, we just pray for this meeting. Pray that it would go well. Pray that you would lead. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the
of the
United
United
States
States of America and
and
to the republic
republic
for which it
for which it
stands,
stands,
one nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. The minutes from our previously held meeting have been provided. Are there any additions or corrections?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second? Councilman Lombardo,
Second.
roll call. Okay, 1 second. We're getting some technical difficulties. Okay, our clerk should be coming up. She had to restart.
Sorry about that, technical difficulties. Thanks for your patience. There was a motion and a second. Baylor? Can you hear me? Baylor?
Aye.
Connor?
Aye.
Freeman?
Aye.
Fusco?
Aye.
Hamer?
Aye.
Lombardo?
Aye.
McKittrick?
Aye.
Malik?
Aye.
Neal?
Excuse me, Madam Clerk, what is this? So I didn't hear you say anything.
This is the motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
Okay, thank you. Aye.
Sure. Was that an aye, Mr. Neal?
Yes.
Thank you. Amobian?
Aye.
Samples?
Aye.
Somerville?
Aye.
Swirsky?
Well, I think I should abstain since I wasn't at the previous meeting.
Okay, minutes are passed 12-0 with one abstention.
Thank you so much. Before you, you do have the consent agenda. Motion to approve. Councilman Fusco.
Approve.
Can we get a second by Councilwoman Baylor?
Second.
Roll call.
Baylor?
Aye.
Connor?
Aye.
Freeman?
Aye.
Fusco?
Aye.
Hamer?
Aye.
Lombardo?
Aye.
McKittrick?
Aye.
Malik?
Aye.
Neal?
Aye.
Amobian?
Aye.
Samples?
Aye.
Somerville?
Aye.
Swirsky?
Aye.
Okay, consent agenda passes 13-0.
We do have one public hearing that was scheduled for this evening that has been pulled. Clerk will read that item in.
I believe there are some people in the waiting room that are going to be joining us that were originally coming for this public hearing. Notice is hereby given that the following public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, February 1st, 2021, during the council meeting at 7 p.m. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to construct a 190-foot monopole telecommunications tower at 596 Beacon Street.
Councilman Fusco.
Yes, thank you, President Somerville. The petitioners has requested for more time to delay the second public hearing till the 22nd. They are willing, from what I understand, to bear the cost of notification to the public. And so with that, the committee respectfully requests that we delay this public hearing until the 22nd and re-advertise.
Thank you so much. Councilman Fusco, what is your pleasure on the rest of the agenda?
Well, thank you, President Somerville. The request of the committee is for time on 2 through and including 7. The request of the committee on item number 8 is for suspension of the rules with a favorable report.
Any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Yes, thank you. This is the proposal for to be located at 1870 Akron Peninsula Road, the conditional use that there's been quite a bit of interest with. This has really been over a year in the making. I know Mayor Horrigan, James Hardy, Planning Director Segedy, and several other city officials have been involved in this. We, as a council, had listened to the concerns, not only at the public hearing, but also through several emails, tried to include as much of that, what we heard as we can with regards to this substitute. Obviously, not everything could be within this particular proposal, as this is a conditional use. It's a conditional use request, and that's what we're asked to consider. The abatement side, we asked about that, and the attorney said that that would be something for another time. So with that, not only that though, it's important to note too that with a give and take, not everyone is always happy with exactly what they get or don't get within this negotiation. However, hopefully we will have something at the end of the day that we all can be proud of. Moving ahead, we recommend approval and hope that we can pass this evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilman Fusco. Councilman Swirsky?
Yeah, I'd like to make a brief comment. I'm hoping not to be involved in a debate with anybody, but I would like to make a brief comment, and pretty similar to what I said at the committee meetings. First, I have to congratulate Councilman Fusco on all the work he put into it. And I really respect his skill at enacting some promises from the developer. I also really respect the background work that went on in the past from Mr. Hardy and the mayor and others. But I still have problems with the location of this because it is next to a floodplain, but because it is still very close to the Cauga River, which we have spent billions helping to clean up. And I know from standing at the site, touring the site by the river, but also importantly by the road, that it will add to traffic congestion. And I would just caution about adding to that. To see people at 5 and 6 o'clock just whizzing by in not very well lit road was very discerning to me. Plus, I do have to remind everybody that the developer's promises are promises. It didn't seem to me yet, and we may hear about this, any legal requirements for a lot of these promises. And I know in my own ward where conditional use was granted, most of the promises from the developer were in fact broken, and it created a problem in a neighborhood that very hard for city officials to sort of clean up afterwards. And in this case, the cleanup would be the Cauga River, the floodplain, the valley. I have supported all of Mayor Horgan's efforts to create housing in other parts of our city. I think it's great that he is so ambitious, that he is so goal-oriented. I totally respect that and am impressed by that. But this is the wrong place for such a project. I have to say that I'd rather see tax abatements used in distressed areas and more appropriate use of the guidelines of the community reinvestment area, which also emphasizes the revitalization of existing housing, which I'd like to see in West Hill and of course, Goodyear Heights, Firestone Park, North Hill, other parts of our city. I think that's where our emphasis is. If we have good housing stock and good neighborhoods, we can attract young people to move here as well. The Valley, it comes down to this. The Valley is a precious, precious resource for our city. And I think in our rush to develop in a rush to increase our tax base. And I see the need for both of those things. I think we have to be very, very careful about and confident that we are not doing something that is in the best interests of the valley. We need to have a master plan for the valley with all the stakeholders before we move ahead with this or any other future developments in this area. So I will not support this. I did not in committee, and I will not support this tonight.
Thank you so much, Councilman Swirsky. Councilwoman Amobian?
Thank you, Madam President. Mr. Fusco, could you articulate clearly what those changes are that are recommended? Just so that everybody is aware, and I want to hear them clearly myself, please.
Sure.
Or if you can't, then if someone on the administration could.
Yeah, there was about, well, of course, On Base just kicked me out, so forgive me. Off the top of my head, I can tell you that we increased, and I don't recall, originally the proposal was for 700 units. Now it's at 198, I believe, or 197. It was going to be all 100% of it was going to be rental. I believe we were able to negotiate to 25 or so. This proposal here, we increased it to 35. We also added some requirements that the construction itself is for lack of a better term, a grade above average in terms of the quality of construction. That's another piece of this proposal. The river itself, I believe the original plan was like 20 feet, 25 feet from the Cuyahoga River. We were able, now with this proposal, it would be 100 feet from the Cuyahoga River. That's all I recall off the top of my head. I'm looking here, I don't know if Mr. Hardy or the mayor would recall any other things that, there's been quite a few from the very beginning, like I said, from day one to where we're at today, quite a bit of change. So
I would only add, Mr. Chair, that yeah, over the course of about 18 months, we've gone through several iterations of the design. And as Mr. Fusco knows, we originally had a very cookie cutter street layout. We've now worked with the developer to create curvature and planning and layout that is more in line with the typography. Everything is off of the floodplain, so it's all based on EPA standards of getting off of the floodplain. We also have over 60% now that is going to be permanently preserved and conserved as public lands, so that the housing is really up closest to Akron Peninsula and all the areas in and around the river. And the developers actually purchased additional land that he is granting over to the West Creek Conservancy to permanently preserve in and around the development. So, decrease the density, increase the design standards and the construction standards, change the layout to be more in line with the typography. Got now a little over 60% permanently conserved for all time. And additionally, Mr. Fusco was able to work with the developer and along with us to get support for the developer to contribute towards public space improvements, which is another critical piece, because I know some of the things that we've heard are better connectivity to the trails that are going to be put in, to the towpath trail, and then obviously connecting the new community to the business district in the valley.
Ms. President Somerville, if I could, one last thing I just
Sure.
from the beginning that's changed since then. In all likeliness, these are going to be hard to see from the street because originally the original plan, I believe, was the 3 or 4 story walk-up type units. Now we're going to go to 1 and 2 story. So there's again, there's quite a few changes from the very beginning, and especially with this last amendment.
Thank you so much, Councilman Fusco. We do have Mayor Horgan online with us.
I think Mr. Neal kind of has his hand up. I'd be more than happy to wait, if that's okay.
Absolutely. Councilman Neal, I didn't see you.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, my question is this. During the discussion, there was talk of a master plan. How far are we away from the master plan? And especially in a time when we're talking about really, engagement, collaboration, is the master plan that far off where we can't wait to see if this is best, or because there's some question if it is the best, it could be the best plan. But with the master plan, we know that one is in the mix. Why would we not wait for the results from the master plan?
Okay, I think I can address a few of those. Thank you, Madam President, Chairman Fusco, council members. Mr. Swirsky, I certainly, we probably, as in this afternoon, probably disagree on some points, but I think you make some very good points about that. When it comes to the plan part of it, that will be part of what we will do this year as far as the operating budget. It's important to know too that this is a private piece of property right now that is zoned for almost any use, and I can let Mr. Segedy go through if you have specific questions of what can go down there. I kind of think, that master plan kind of was settled about 35 or 33 years ago when they saved the valley and put in a national park and the metro parks. And I think this is a very responsible way to be able to bring development to that, but not overburden, the ecological and environmental resources that are down there. We've done studies about traffic and the infrastructure, and it can certainly handle those, or we probably wouldn't have moved forward. Another note of mention is that, that development agreement will eventually come to council with those specific things that we talked about, and Mr. Fuster talked about, and our team talked about with the developer. And if you look at, I think, the sheer volume of what this community, and I would say, Akron and the community at large have invested in to be able to protect that river and to do the right things and to be able to clean it up, I think that's a celebration point too. But I still think we can do some things that are responsible and not overburden. And that's with, coming down with the number of units and how it looks and how it's able to fit in there. I think that's certainly a responsible way to do that. One of the things that we also found, and Mr. Swirsky makes a great point when it comes to those individual neighborhoods, and that's going to be part of a plan that we introduced to council here, hopefully this year, in planning to grow Akron 2.0. It's probably a longer conversation that we entail tonight, but it is investing in some of those neighborhoods. And I think we've started on some of those with the Parks Challenge and the Great Street, but it really is about moving back into housing, but it's also having those resources to be able to do it. And hopefully this year we'll be able to bring you some sort of plan that makes it look like, how do we keep people in their homes and be an age-friendly city for all, and invest in neighborhoods where they haven't seen us for a long time. And I don't mean just sidewalks and streetlights and say, hopefully, you're up to the rest. It's talking about a true partnership with that. And so, I think that's pretty much the arguments that I made this morning or even this afternoon. But if you look at some of the things that have happened along the river, where we have been able to do development, even as it sets back a little bit along Hickory Street on both sides, down Merriman Road that is close to the trail, I still think we can responsibly do this in a way. And one of the things that two of those housing studies showed us back in 2017 and 16 was that there was a strong demand for new housing. And so this is part of that group to be able to do that. I still think as a community, if we are going to thrive, that we need an influx of people and of capital and of ideas and working together towards that goal. So, with that, I urge your passage, and this has been strongly supported by the administration, because we have so little control over the use of that. And if you looked at that parcel of land, what is the best use of that? We feel this is the best use for that parcel to be able to do that. With that, I'll turn it back over to Madam President. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mayor Horgan. Are there any other council members that have any comments at this time? Again, I'm going to encourage you to please use the raise hand function so that I will be able to see you on my end.
Shit.
Councilwoman,
I forgot what it was.
Councilwoman Amobian, I see your hand first.
Yes, thank you, Madam President, again. I can tell you that I drove down the street, and at the foot of the street, I believe is the same area, there are lots of townhouses, brand new development down there. Is this the same area we're talking about? On the left-hand side, if you're going in from Akron Peninsula.
Yeah, it's just down the street from Todero's. If you were going to remember a marking spot from Todero's Party Center, it's really close to that. As far as where Tice Road comes out, just a hair west of that on the same side of the street.
it has a French sounding name to it, whatever the development is called.
Yes, where the lines draw in over there, and having represented that area for 7 or 8 years, those lines from Cuyahoga Falls and Akron kind of come back around on one side and then go back up the hill. And sometimes it's even hard. Even the back of Tadero's parcel is in Akron, but the front part is in Cuyahoga Falls. This parcel happens to sit in the city of Akron. It's the way the lines were drawn eons ago, and what is Akron proper and what is Cuyahoga Falls proper.
Thank you so much. Councilman Swirsky?
Yeah, I apologize. I forgot how to use the raise hand
It's okay.
function. So thank you for allowing me. Again, the difference between 30 feet and 100 feet in terms of proximity to the river is not that much. Think about a football field, 10 yards, 20 yards. I mean, it's really not very much. And secondly, I don't believe that we have the capacity to make the developer's promises, to make him accountable. And I don't think that we are going to find solace or support that is adequate from the EPA or other agencies. So I believe it would be an unwise decision to cite this housing development so close to the river, so close to a fragile floodplain. And I do think I'll quit saying the same things over and over again. And I do think that the use of tax abatement is more appropriate in distressed areas and for other areas of our city, like Goodyear Heights, like West Hill, like Firestone Park. So
Thank you so much, Councilman Swirsky. There are no more comments. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Kamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Abstain.
Neal,
A.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville,
Aye.
Swirsky.
no.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Councilman Freeman?
it was brought to my attention here not too long ago that when we do cast an abstention vote, that there does need to be explanation involved with that abstention vote, according to our rules.
Absolutely. Councilman Neal or Councilman Malik?
Yes, certainly. I've
Abstention?
been clear with my constituents, and I can be clear with the council. Because this is in Ward 8, I was early on involved in discussions about this at the beginning of last year. I learned that there was a potential conflict involving the law firm that I was associated with. And so I recused myself from the deliberations and the vote on this since last spring, and take my responsibility to the ward very seriously, and want to make sure to be involved in these important issues going forward. So that's my explanation.
Okay, thank you so much. Councilman Malik? Councilman Fusco?
Yes, the requested committees for time on 9, 10, and 11. Then to file item number 12, that's the petition that we just voted on. Time on 13 through and including 16. The wishes of the committee is that we vote the report of the committee, I should say, I apologize. The report of the committee on item number 17 is favorable, and we're asking for passage. This is a reference, a conditional use that was discussed in November at 1259 East Avenue. I know yourself, Madam President, wanted time to look at this, and now I understand you're comfortable with it, the ward council person. We recommend approval.
Thank you so much. Committee's report is favorable. Are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended. Councilwoman Amobian?
Yeah, again, Mr. Fusco, I apologize. Could you please refresh our memory on what this is?
Yes, this is permitting a parking And Mr. Antonucci, I hope you're still on the line. I see your name. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, but this is to permit a parking spot within the setback area. Obviously, we regulate that. And I believe the person that resides at this particular location is handicapped, I believe. And so this would permit that parking in the front area of the property.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Kamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville,
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
This ordinance passes 13-0.
Thank you so much, Councilman Fusco.
Thank you. The request of the committees for time on items 18, 19, and 20 to file 21. That's the petition on the item on East Avenue we just voted on. Time on 22 through and including 28. Request of committees to file item 29. For some reason, that's been on the agenda for a while. No need to be on. Time on 30. And then to file item 31, that's the original conditional use on Akron Peninsula. So request the committees to file 31. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Public service, Councilwoman Samples.
Thank you, Madam President. The committee is requesting consent on this item.
This item will be placed on the consent agenda. That concludes our old business. We'll now move into new legislation.
Item number 1, offered by Freeman, ordinance amending or supplementing Title 9, Chapter 104, Income Tax Ordinance, Section 104.091, Collection at Source, Withholding from Qualifying Wages of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Akron in order to align deadlines with those set forth in the Ohio Revised Code and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Freeman.
Committee's requested this item be placed on the consent agenda.
This item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 2, offered by Mayor Horrigan, resolution approving and confirming the appointment of Lauren Alexander Butterworth to the City of Akron Public Art Commission for a 3-year term expiring on January 1st, 2024, and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Freeman.
Committee's report is favorable, asking for suspension of the rules.
Any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Yes, originally we were going to place this on the consent agenda, and then it came up during committee meeting today that the Public Art Commission is having a meeting this week. So in order to approve Ms. Butterworth and have her be in her official capacity for the meeting this week, we are asking for suspension of the rules.
Thank you so much. The committee's report is favorable. The rules have been suspended. Roll call.
Baylor.
Aye.
Connor.
Aye.
Freeman.
Aye.
Fusco.
Aye.
Kamer.
Aye.
Lombardo.
Aye.
McKittrick.
Aye.
Malik.
Aye.
Neal.
Aye.
Amobian.
Aye.
Samples.
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
This resolution passes 13-0. Item number 3, offered by Fusco, ordinance authorizing the purchase of various interests in real property located on or around East Waterloo Road to facilitate the Brewster Creek Culvert Replacement Project, authorizing the Director of Public Service or his designee to enter into related agreements and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco.
Consent agenda.
This item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 4, offered by Fusco, ordinance approving the donation of 2269 10th Street Southwest to Nazareth Housing Development Corporation, determining said property is not needed for public use and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco.
Consent agenda.
This item will also be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 5, offered by Fusco, ordinance approving the sale of 19 acres of city-owned land located in the Turkey Foot Industrial Park to Gardner Pie Company, determining said property is not needed for public use and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco.
Consent agenda.
This item will also be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 6, offered by Freeman, ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service, after publicly advertising for bids, to enter into a contract or contracts for planting of trees in connection with the Akron Waterways Renewed Program and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Freeman,
Refer.
this item will be referred.
Item number 7, offered by Freeman, ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service, after publicly advertising for bids, to enter into a contract or contracts for the replacement of certain water mains throughout the city of Akron as part of the Water Main Replacement Program and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Freeman,
Committee's asked this item be placed on the consent agenda.
this item will be placed on the consent agenda. That does conclude our new business for this evening. We will now move into the portion of our meeting that we refer to as our public comment period. We do have some emails that our clerk will read in, followed by listening to voicemails.
This is from Bryn Olson. Council, do you have a beloved pet in your home? Did you know the animals are vulnerable to the hazardous chemicals released by fracking? Will you keep them safe? Experts say they will be at risk. Livestock will be at risk too, and that would be especially devastating for Ohio. Our wild animals are not safe either. These preventable dangers threaten our ecosystem. Are the short-term meager profits of a few men worth killing man's best friend? When the poison land produces no food, will those men make sure we are fed? This is from Joseph Geiger. On the 24th of January, Fairlawn Heights Neighborhood Association emailed the attached speed tables outgoing email to their members. We have received about 50 replies to the mailing. Our Ward 8 Councilman Shamus Malik asked that we send these comments to the Akron Public Comment email address so that they can be read at the next City Council meeting. I've created the attached speed table email feedback document by cutting and pasting these 50 replies into a single document. I've made only minor format and spelling corrections. I've included the person's name and email address that they used to send their reply. In another file, I have the phone numbers and street addresses for each of these people. I have retained the original emails and can provide these if you need. Last summer, the city of Akron tested 2 speed tables, one on Shockalog at Amesbury and one on Shockalog at Stockbridge. The speed tables were very successful in reducing both speed and noise. The city of Akron is proposing to install 2 speed tables on Ridgewood Road. We all know the problem with speeding vehicles coming through Fairlawn Heights heading from and to I-77. The Fairlawn Heights Neighborhood Association Board is strongly in favor of encouraging the city to proceed with installing speed tables. Before we move ahead with our request, we need your input. Please reply to this email with your comments and suggestion, or post your ideas on the FHNA Facebook page. Hope that you and your family have a safe and healthy 2021. Tracy Philibon says, with many families walking and running and biking throughout our great neighborhood, I feel that this is a great idea. Thank you so much. Mark Bear says, Joe, I'm a fan. For that matter, have them put one on Hampshire Speedway while they're at it. Happy, healthy New Year, and thanks again for all your efforts on behalf of us all. Terry Finn says, we are concerned that the proposed speeding tables would divert traffic to Bryce, Hampshire. Maybe a more comprehensive plan should be considered. Thank you. Nan Ryerson says, I think it's a great idea to place speed tables on Ridgewood Road. Too often, drivers ignore the posted speed limit and fly through the neighborhood to the peril of those trying to enter or cross the road. Several years ago, I was the injured victim of a distracted driver doing 48 miles an hour down Ridgewood as I was attempting to cross the road at Inverness. Hopefully, the city will leave the speed tables in place for some months in an attempt to retain drivers who regularly use Ridgewood to come and go. Tracy Wiley says, yes, absolutely, save a life. Curious why one of the Shockalog tables were removed. Next up, adding one to Hampshire. Thank you to you and the board for all of your efforts. Katie Fenwick says, hi Joe, it's Katie Fenwick, and I would think speed tables on Ridgewood Road would greatly reduce the speed. Probably a better idea than where they were. I actually didn't agree with where they put the ones on Shockalog. I felt if they were going to put them anywhere on Shockalog, it should have been the traffic pattern from coming in off Market Street to Covington, and then Shockalog to Ridgewood. That was heavy traffic pattern in the shortcut from Market Street to the freeway. I just sold my brother's house on Shockalog, which was right in that pocket, so I can vouch for how heavy and fast the traffic was between Covington and Ridgewood Road. That's my 2 cents for where I think they should have been on Shockalog as opposed to where they put them for what it's worth. Stay safe and healthy. Bill Fink says full speed ahead with the speed tables, that is. Thanks. Tom Selden says, my house is on East Fairlawn, right next to the intersection with Hampshire. It is a frequent cut through to and from 77. Almost half the cars speed through that intersection at well more than the posted 25 miles per hour. Since it cuts off Ridgewood travel for the regulars who use it, I think it would also be wise to measure there, especially those heading towards 77 from Market. Harry Sarvis says, I travel Ridgewood Road frequently and the speed of many of the cars in both directions are well over 25 miles per hour. I am in favor of installing 2 speed tables. Lindsay Yoder says, all in favor of reducing speeding in the Heights. Thanks. Jeff Hunter says, thank you for your email and continued hard work for the FHNA. Count me in as all in favor for the speed tables. They certainly did work on Shockalog. James Kluger says, I think the speed table is an effective way to make people aware of what the speed limit is, and I'm in favor of adding something to Ridgewood Road. I think we also get oversized truck traffic from time to time that might be helped by this as well. Sarah Host says we would be very supportive of speed tables on Ridgewood Road. We live on Shockalog by Covington and would also like to propose one there as well. People use Shockalog as a cut through to get from Market to 77 and they just fly around that corner. There are several school bus drop-offs on our street and I constantly see kids walking to wait for the bus in the morning. During the time of year when it's still dark in the morning, I'm always afraid one of these speeders is going to hit one of these kids. Patricia Brubaker says, I think it is an excellent idea. I see so many cars going way, way too fast. Thank you for your work in trying to rectify this situation. Marilyn Bucky says, great idea, I approve. Brock Wenker, I'll for it. Emma Wortko, very much in favor. I cross Ridgewood while walking south on Elay Road and people fly over that small hill by Barnstable. Beth Jack, if they are going to install them, we need them further down on Shockalog. People really speed in front of our house, 160 Shockalog. Peter Letarte says, hi Joe, I replied to something already. I'm in favor of those already. The 3 minutes is up. This is from Nathan Blyce. I've been a resident of Summit County for the last 4 decades and grow more in love with the natural spaces in the Cuyahoga Valley every day that I visit, particularly during the lockdown during the past year. I've been an avid cyclist both on the road and on the trails, have been a trail runner, dog hiker, snow sledder, tree planter, invasive plant disruptor, trail builder, and trash picker. I'm a father of 4 children who all grew up in and love the valley because of its beauty, its recreational features, and because of the natural history and environmental importance. The vision by John Seiberling to set aside this land years ago should not stop now, particularly in such an important time in our history when we have the opportunity to let nature reclaim its proper place and allow us to enjoy it and continue to be good stewards of the remaining limited natural areas that our earth so desperately needs. I joined the Preserve the Valley movement perhaps a bit too late now that I'm hearing that Akron City Council is taking the next step to consider rezoning the property before a more comprehensive plan of action is developed. The fact that we even have a national park in our backyard is simply the most valuable thing that Summit County has going for it in recreation. If city population size is decreasing, what is the point of boosting the city population size by taking over land that has been a natural draw for thousands of years and tens of thousands of visitors? If you convert the land to residential, it'll be forever changed. You diminish the inherent value of not only that area, but surrounding areas because there's less of an attraction to come and visit and enjoy. This area could be the southern gateway to the CVNP and incorporate the beauty of the land into that function while conserving and restoring the land to a natural state. This area has such a large potential to become a hugely popular recreational area and a natural conservancy milestone. No matter how nice a house is built, it will always pale in comparison to woodlands and wetlands, tree groves and picnic areas over rooftops and parking lots. Isn't a tax abatement a tool to help stimulate opportunities in areas that need some economic help? The property values in the market certainly is hot for the Cuyahoga Valley. Giving a developer an abatement to further their expansion and shareholder value at the expense of the most valuable asset the area seems contrary to the intent of a tax abatement at its core. I feel like it would be selling the city of Akron short. There is so much more potential to add value to our area, to our entire area, by adopting a master plan that addresses the concerns of everyone. I myself would certainly love to live in the valley, but would not want to live there if it meant converting more green space into rooftops and parking lots. There are certainly areas in our county that have already been developed for housing without the need for expanding into an environmentally important green space and recreational gold mine. A decision to expand is irreversible, and the changes it would bring to the land are permanent. Why damage the most valuable thing our area has? Why not set aside the valley as an example of an area that we can all benefit from and enjoy together? Thank you. What's that? This is from Anthony Center. Some people are mute and have to use sign language, cannot stop emailing. Could it be discrimination? This is from Chris Reed. Let's not forget who you folks work for, the people. When you put yourself above the public, you should be removed from your position and no longer serve the people you do not want to listen to. This is from Josephine Fedor. As a resident of Geauga County, I'm contacting you to encourage Akron not to drill under or around Ladue Reservoir. The purity of our well water is at risk. Is the financial gain from leasing that property worth the risk of compromising the quality of the drinking water of Geauga County residents? I don't think so. This is from Debbie Continenza. I am deeply disturbed to learn that the City of Akron is considering a lease deal with DP Energy Auburn LLC to horizontally drill and frack for oil and gas under Ladue Reservoir. The way I understand it, the City of Akron owns 475 acres of land surrounding Ladue Reservoir to protect the city's drinking water supply. That makes sense for your citizens' safety. What about the safety of your neighbors in Geauga County? How can you think it is responsible to allow drilling under the reservoir, which would have a high probability of compromising the integrity of Geauga County's groundwater, from which most Geauga County residents get their drinking water? You have the power to not only keep your own citizens safe, but the power to keep your neighbors' citizens safe. You also have the power to take steps to compromise the water your neighbors drink. Which of those decisions can you live with? Please do not allow horizontal drilling and fracking for oil and gas under Ladue Reservoir. This is from Randy Continenza. Please do not contract to drill for gas and oil under Ladue Reservoir. As a Geauga County citizen, I, along with 97% of Geauga County residents, get our drinking water from wells. Numerous studies link contaminated groundwater to fracking operations. As you have planned to protect your citizens' drinking water supply, please consider the supply of Geauga County citizens also when making the decision. Thank you. This is from Stephen Mays and Lil Turner. It is time to think about our future. I totally oppose any drilling or fracking at Ladue Reservoir. Also, from what I read, Akron water supply would not be impacted, yet Geauga County, in which we and my grandchildren live, and depend on well water. It is time to draw a line in the sand for our future. Fracking was designated in secret and is a bad idea still. No oil or fracking in anybody's backyard. Stop the madness. It is killing all of us. That is the end of the emails, and I do have voicemails to play. There are over 100 of them.
Gentlemen, my name is Tristan Weber. The Cuyahoga River watershed is one of our most important and unique natural resources. Fracking represents the fossil fuel industry, a way of the past, and a dangerous gamble with the health and safety of our community. Let us not sacrifice our precious, irreplaceable resource for a form of energy that brings temporary jobs and permanent damage to our ecosystem. Let us think about the future that we are leaving our children and their children. Let us think about the world that young people like me will inherit. Thank you.
Your City Council, my name is Rebecca Hayek, and I'm a member of the Akron Democratic Socialists of America. And I'm calling to demand that City Council vote no on leasing our land for fracking and to express opposition to your attempts at silencing us at public meetings. How can you represent us if you won't listen to us?
Hi, my name is Joshua Bellis. I'm a member of the Akron Democratic Socialists of America. I am calling from my current address, which is my parents' address, 312 Nottingham Way, Wadsworth, Ohio. And I'm calling because, as many of you on council probably know by the hundreds of emails that we've organized and sent you, we don't support the sale of mineral rights to the Ladue Reservoir, because when you start to frack on the Ladue Reservoir, you're not just affecting Akron, you're affecting the greater Akron area, you're affecting the surrounding communities that all get our water from the Cuyahoga River. And so you're playing games with our access to human rights. And so the issue is that when you do that, naturally, a lot of people are going to oppose you. There are a lot of great people who are very upset because of what you're doing, because of the games that you're playing with people's livelihoods. And so you received hundreds of emails to your email inboxes. We've heard that you're frustrated with that. You've probably received a good many emails to your public comment email which is probably why you closed that down. And so as you've received dissent, you've systematically removed our abilities to make that dissent heard one by one, to where now I'm talking to you on this voicemail line, which is the last way that I can make my voice heard in this community. And so I just want to express how upside down this is. This is not, you are elected to work for us. We're not supposed to dance around whatever possible, like whatever the one way that you want to get spoken to is. You're supposed to be seeking our opinion out because we're your constituents. And so I just want to voice how much opposition there is for this. Multiple organizing groups in Akron have all banded together to organize to work against this sale of mineral rights, which is going to possibly devastate our community. And so, I urge you, don't get too comfortable. I urge you, don't get too comfortable in those seats, because this is an incredibly unpopular decision in our community. And you might find yourself being voted out next time. Thank you, and have a good night.
Hi, my name is Mark, M-A-R-K. My last name is Hicks, H-I-C-K-S. I live at 565 Celia Avenue, Akron, 44312. I'd like to speak my mind respectfully and state for the record that I believe City Council is overstepping its boundaries and not actually allowing the residents of the city to truly speak their voice for as long as they need to in order to air their grievances. Some people aren't so eloquent in their speech and need much longer to go ahead and to complain or to make issues heard respectfully longer than a 3-minute voicemail. Without writing that documentation by sending an email, since we're no longer allowed to appear in person to address our complaints, even though we're allowed to go to work, we're allowed to go to the grocery store, we're allowed to go to restaurants, we're allowed to go to bars, we're allowed to go to grocery stores as far as that's concerned. But for whatever reason, we still can't see the elected officials that are in office that we pay their salaries for. At this point, it's no longer a democratic society if the voices of the people cannot truly be heard to their fullest, period. And it is honestly a crying shame, because at this point, government continues to distance itself further from the constituents that it's supposed to represent. And if people continue to think that everything is hunky-dory, there's certainly a problem with society in general when it comes to people who are in office, because they don't understand why it is that people are angry. They're not angry because of supposed voter fraud or governments that are having conspiracy theories at this point. They're angry at the people who truly are representing them as they're supposed to be. That's the frustrating part.
This is Mark McGree at 636 Virginia Avenue in Kent. I want to say definitely do not go through with the fracking. It's horrible. It's disgusting. It blows up houses. It messes up water. We're here to live on the planet, not take advantage of it for everything it's worth, not destroy it for our own temporary greed. You can't go through with this. This is just wrong. Have some decency.
Hello, my name is Sarah Shook. I'm a resident of Cuyahoga Falls and a taxpayer in the Woodridge Local School District. And I heard Jeff Fusco on the WAKR this morning. Today is Thursday, January 28th. And in regard to the Riverwood development, he said that they can't pull out the offer at this time because of the threat of a lawsuit and by the developer. I think that's very unfair. It's the same ploy that was used to get the Sword Trail development through the Cuyahoga Falls City Council, the threat of a lawsuit. And also, I think the worst part of this whole thing is the tax abatement, which would hurt the Woodridge schools. I think that is very unfair. And I've read all the articles in the newspapers, so I'm an informed citizen. So I just wanted to let my voice be heard. Thank you for your consideration.
Good evening, this is Jill Cabe. I live at 265 Crosby Street, Akron, Ohio, 44313. I'm a resident of Ward 1. I'm urging the City of Akron to resist offering leases of public lands for short-term financial gain that have the potential for long-term negative environmental impact, specifically the possible fracking agreement between the City of Akron and DP Energy Auburn at the Ladue Reservoir. Thank you.
Greetings, this is Eric Jackson. I live in the Northampton area. I'm calling about several concerns. First, the proposed rezoning of Riverwoods Golf Course to allow a housing development to be built. I think that decisions about the development of the valley should be made carefully with consideration of all affected parties. The Merriman Valley, although not part of the Cuyahoga Valley National Park, is intrinsically linked to it. Many visitors to the park visit the Merriman Valley for dining, shopping, gas, and of course the much beloved towpath trail runs right through it. The most popular road bicycle route and motorcycle route in the national park is the 20-mile loop that uses Akron Peninsula Road and Riverview Road through Peninsula and the Merriman Valley. And this loop runs right in front of the Riverwoods property. I think that any decisions for further development of this or any other valley property needs to include a group of all interested parties, to include the public, the valley residents, the Cuyahoga Valley National Park, the Conservancy for CVNP, and other impacted parties. These decisions have far-ranging impact on not only Akron, but the entire Cuyahoga Valley. Second, I'd like to talk about the property receiving proposals for development or conservation at Hardy and Feast Road. I know this area well as I'm a frequent user of the Hampton Hills Mountain Bike Park. I think this property needs to be conserved. The development does not fit into this location. I recommend you visit the area if you get the chance and take a look. What you'll see is a beautiful nature area with lots of old growth wood and some homes well spread out. Also many lakes and wetlands. These lakes and wetlands would be directly impacted by any runoff from this property as it sits directly above them. I waited so many years to have the opportunity to mountain bike in Akron, and the Hampton Hills Mountain Bike Park is more than just a recreation location. The park, if you haven't seen it, is stunningly beautiful. I can't imagine those views being destroyed by a housing development directly across the street. I hope that you will consider preserving this particular property. Third, I strongly oppose the fracking at Ladue Reservoir. Yesterday, the federal government banned all fossil fuel leasing on federal land for 1 year. And although this is not federal land, I think we should follow the same guidance at a local level. I ask that you reject the proposal to sell mineral rights on that property, and I further ask that you pass an ordinance prohibiting any future development or any use of mineral rights on any Akron City water property. Thank you for your time and your service to Akron, and have a good day. Bye.
All you have to do is ask a geologist about fracking. It's a horrible thing, and Ladue is gorgeous. And the water is a problem if you're going to use the water to drill. So please don't do this. It's really not that much money. Please leave our beautiful Ladue Reservoir alone.
Hello, this is Jim Martin, MERTIN.
I live at 454 Betty Street, Bettie. We are against this fracking at the Ladue Reservoir. We think this is just an invitation to become another Flint, Michigan, and we oppose this. Thank you. Goodbye.
This is Christina Sprague, 17888 Chillicothe, Chagrin Falls, Ohio, 44023, Bainbridge Township. I'm calling in opposition to the proposed lease of the city-owned land by Akron at Ladue Reservoir to DP Energy in Auburn for fracking. I was hoping the city would not pursue this because of long-term negative effects on the environment. I'm worried about groundwater, the wells, and the watershed for the Cuyahoga River. And I know this is Akron's water supply. All right, thank you very much. Appreciate your time. Have a good day.
Hi, Francine Sharper, resident of Auburn, Ohio, near Ladue. My comment is in regards to the fracking issue. I prepared a statement, which I will hope to read in my 3 minutes. Aside from the glaring scam that is taking place, that being council has been offered $500 an acre versus the $3,000 to $4,000 that landowners get for leasing to frack in southern Ohio. Why? Because DP Energy Auburn LLC startup and Patrick DeAndrea are trying to make a quick buck. He probably never even plans to drill, but instead flip and sell the lease to a larger corporation who could destroy the landscape with little to no accountability because of their large corporate status. If DeAndrea, being an oil and gas lawyer, thought that fracking under Ladue would be a lucrative endeavor, he would be offering much more per acre. But the problem with deep gas wells in Northeast Ohio is that they don't produce like they do in Southern Ohio. DeAndrea knows this, being well versed in the oil gas field, and knows how to cheat the system, including Akron City Council, the citizens of Akron, and the landowners surrounding the Ladue watershed. Aside from the fact that you unfortunately are getting scammed, the issues that fracking presents are not just from potential spills or risk of contaminated drinking water or ground disturbance, but from the networks of future pipelines that would fragment the forest, inviting invasive species and other issues to the forest ecosystem. They are losing out on so much future potential state and federal funding that is offered through conservation easement grants. By leasing the mineral rights, they may not be eligible for future conservation funding. The city paid nearly $300,000 to do a feasibility study and are not even using this document to make informed decisions about how to leverage monies. The clean water that is needed to frack is being pulled from our beautiful headwater streams and pristine tributaries that feed the larger river networks. This, to me, is a huge threat to the Cuyahoga River and its health, just as it is starting to make a comeback after the large dam removals recently. This is what I want you to hear. This is a scam, and it is not in your best interest to pursue leasing these mineral rights. It is bad for the city in every way, shape, or form. And I hope that you consider these words that I prepared with great due diligence to find the truth and help you make an informed decision. Thank you for.
Hi, my name is Jessica Schickel. I live in Geauga County. My address is 7444 Fields Road. And I'm just calling to dissuade the council from even considering a deep well frack in the Ladue watershed. We want to keep our lakes, rivers, and waters clean and protected from, the dangers of fracking, which are well known. Please, 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 please do not frack near Ladue. Thanks.
Hello, I am calling as a person who is affected by Akron's water supply. I hear that there was a meeting to discuss the fracking of this public land, and on January 25th, an hour and a half of people went on stage to discuss their anger at the city council for even considering this.
and you responded to this by retiring the public comment email. So if you are beholden to the people in any way, in any kind of democratic way, you have to understand that this is not something that people are going to take sitting down, and you need to stop it now. And the reason why you had so many angry people there and you can't say anything to them is because the truth isn't on your side and the public health isn't on your side, and you know what you're doing is wrong and for profit, and it won't even get into the hands of people who need it, and it needs to stop. It needs to end. So this is just another one of the many angry people that you've heard from this week, and believe me, we're going to make sure that we do everything we can to stop this from happening.
Hello, my name is Thomas Garino. I live at 2511 Falmouth Road in Fairlawn, Ohio. I was calling to voice my concern to the Akron City Council the fracking proposal land at Ladue Reservoir. I feel that this is a threat to the Cuyahoga River watershed. Would respectfully ask City Council to oppose this proposal to frack this road near so close to this road like that pipe water to 300 south of Akron. I don't think it's worth the risk. So some financial gain. Impacts on the environment, including risk of the river, are just way too great. So I would implore you to reject this proposal. And I appreciate your time and your consideration. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Hello, my name is Julie Norman. Address is 5952 Northeast Drive, Clinton, Ohio 44216. I'm not currently an Akron resident, but I was born and raised there, lived there for 40 years, owned a home there for 7. I am leaving a comment today in regards to City Council doing away with submission of public comments through email. I find this highly disturbing at a time that you're getting an influx of opposition around both the Riverwood deal and the Ladue Reservoir deals that are trying to go down, that are a severe threat to our environmental health and public health. And I think it's, quite honestly, I think it's shady, and that you need to reconsider this decision. Lots of people are not comfortable calling in to leave a voicemail and are more comfortable doing an email. And I just think the coincidence is obvious that it is a way to squelch the voices of your citizens. And I think you should reflect on that and consider reversing that decision. Thanks so much for listening. Have a good day.
My name is David Moss. I'm a citizen of Stark County, but I actually work in Summit County at 3700 Embassy Parkway. I am opposed to the plan to allow fracking in protected watershed areas of Summit County. I am opposed to the notion of fracking altogether, but particularly in sensitive environmental areas. So I would urge council to reject this proposal. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Susan Thorpe, and I live in Gates Mills, Ohio, and I have a well on my property, and nobody ever knows it's there. It was what they call frack, which sounds terrible, but nothing happened, and they dug down, and now it's surrounded by a lovely wooden fence, and I am so proud to have American gas and oil and not be relying on the Saudi Arabians and Iraq and all that. And it never caused any problem. Nobody knows it's there. And I'm very, very happy and proud to have it. And everything has gone well. I've had it almost 10 years now. Thank you. I hope you get one. Bye.
Yes, hello, my name is Ben Aykroyd, and I'm a resident of 18485 May Court in Auburn Township. Calling to hereby voice opposition to the leasing of the fracking rights near the Ladue Reservation in Auburn and Troy Townships. Very concerned about the city of Akron entering into a lease agreement when honestly the city of Akron really has no concern in regards to the citizens who actually live in Auburn Township. Very concerned about groundwater contamination by the hydraulic fluids and chemicals used in the process, not to mention all the other potential surface spills. Again, hereby expressing great concern over the entering into this leasing agreement for these mineral rights. Thank you.
This is Mark Kearney, Winchell Road, Manaway Township. I see you've got plans for fracking under Ladue. And I'm concerned about our water well and then surrounding properties, certainly. We've been here for 30 or 40 years and had to put up with how protected that land was. And this is the very land you intend and have opened up for fracking. So that's pretty incredible. Think about how much little money is to be gained by this and how much risk is to be managed by us and loss of property value. So however you do that, make sure somebody's well insured. They can replace our water and our property values. And if that's the case and you need to make a bunch of money, there'll be plenty of money to pay us all off if things go wrong. Have a good day. Thanks again, Mark Kearney. Bye-bye.
Dear City Council, my name is Eliza Morkel, and I live on 246 Clinton Avenue, Akron, Ohio, and I am a member of the Akron Democratic Socialists of America. I am calling to demand that the City Council vote no on leasing our land for fracking and to express opposition to your attempt at silencing us as public meetings. How can you represent us if you won't listen to us? It's very redundant. We need to make sense, Akron. As a community and as a people, we all have to be represented. Thank you and have a lovely day.
Yes, this is Kimberly Trem at 18430 May Court, calling about the fracking that you are trying to push through in our community. Please consider our health and don't pollute our soil, water, and air. Do your research. Fracking is not healthy for our community. Please do not allow this to move forward. Let's take care of our environment. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lee Trem, and I live at 18430 May Court in Auburn Township. I'm calling in regards to the proposed lease agreement between DT Energy and the City of Akron regarding mineral rights for the use of fracking. I am strongly opposed to this agreement because I believe that fracking near Ladue is not in the best interest of the residents and water conservation. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tim McConnell. I live in Auburn Township. And just like every other person in Geauga County, we all have wells. We don't get our water from surface water of Ladue. We get our water from a large aquifer under Ladue. You people are trying to make money on drilling holes through that aquifer and sucking oil and gas out because you think we need more millionaires. We don't. We need more fresh water. You people came to Geauga County to get your water because ours was clean up here. Now you want to fill it full of holes and drill it for oil. We are totally against this. You people have to stop this. We don't need more millionaires. We need more clean air, clean water. It is not worth it. If these wells get totally contaminated, no one can live here. There is no other source of water. We have wells. Don't ruin them.
This is Linda
Rhonda Lohman calling. My address is 2381 Falmouth Road, 44333. I am against more housing. I want to preserve the valley and the beauty that's there. We don't want to crowd it, but with more homes, just keep it open and beautiful. Thank you very much.
Yeah, my name is Matt Hollis. My address is 18420 May Court in Auburn, and I would just like to strongly discourage the fracking that I've read about is going to try to take place. I have no interest in having that near or on my property, and I can be reached at 216-973-6005, but I'm strongly discouraging the fracking in Auburn. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hi, this is Lorraine Brasia. I live at 18460 May Court, Auburn Township, Ohio, and I received information regarding fracking on the south side of Ladue. Ladue is in my backyard. We were lucky enough to get this property, and we also were lucky enough to have spring water as our drinking water on our property, and I'd hate for anything to change that or mess that up. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Pat Bocek. I live at 18475 May Court. Our street is on the southern bank of Ladue, and I'd like to express my opposition to the drilling of near Ladue. We're all worried about our wells and what could happen with these or other things that have come up with fracking. I just would like to make it known that I do oppose this, and I hope that they take it in consideration of all of my property and all my neighbors. Thank you.
Good evening, councilmen and women. My name is Jeanette Coleridge, and I live on Greenwood Avenue in Ward 4. I'm calling to address my concern over the selling of the mineral rights to allow for fracking done near our drinking water. At this point, I know you've heard from many stating that not only can fracking contaminate water, but it also releases pollution into our air and our soil. From the proposal, the lease will bring in a little over $200,000 plus 15% of uncertain profits. That could be a small something, or that could be absolutely nothing. I recognize that the city is feeling financial strain specifically due to COVID, but is our water, soil, and the air we breathe worth the risk of contamination? I think not. I work with adults that have developmental disabilities. Through our programming, we offer guidance on how to identify a scam. We say the easiest way to identify a scam is by asking yourself how simple it sounds to get money. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. And if money is too easy to make, it is. Please do not let us become victims of this scam due to the way you vote. One councilwoman told me it was already like Swiss cheese in the designated area. So what is one more fracking site? Well, one more fracking site creates more pollution. So by adding another, yes, it does make a difference. So my question to you, councilmen and women, is to ask yourself if it is worth it. Is it worth a little over $200,000 to put our valued water on the line? If, and more likely when, that water is polluted, will you think back to your vote and wish you had made a different decision? Thank you for your time.
Dennis Motika, 18620 Shaw Road. Lake Ladue property is directly behind my backyard. My big concerns about you considering fracking are, one, my well water, which we're totally dependent upon on Shaw Road. And secondly, on an area that big, if they start horizontal drilling into it and fracking it, what's the potential for earthquakes? And will you be responsible for damage to my property if earthquakes occur? I understand the arguments pro and con for fracking, but if my house is damaged or I lose my well, who pays? I benefit nothing from your fracking profits, yet I suffer the potential damages. I contacted my insurance agent, and he informed me if my well goes bad because of fracking, it's not covered. So there's a potential very large cost to me for your benefit. Thank you very much.
My name is Teresa Brightman, and I'm an Akron resident at 619 Roslyn in Ward 4. I'm calling today because I am opposed to selling the mineral rights at Ladue Reservoir to DP Energy Auburn for the purpose of hydraulic fracturing. Regardless of any minimal financial gain the city may make in this deal, the long-term jeopardizing of the health and safety of Akron residents is not worth the risk. The Concerned Health Professionals of New York and Physicians for Social Responsibility, two organizations made up of scientists, doctors, and healthcare professionals, issued a report in December 2020 titled Compendium of Scientific, Medical, and Media Findings Demonstrating Risks and Harms of Fracking. I have emailed the link for this report to all members of council, and I know other members of the public have also referenced this report. Among other findings, the report states, across a wide range of parameters, the data continue to reveal a plethora of recurring problems that cannot be sufficiently averted through regulatory frameworks. The risks and harms of fracking are inherent to its operation. Quote, end quote. Pursuing this deal with DP Energy Auburn is a denial of the facts and a demonstration of a potentially fatal lack of imagination by our city leaders. If Akron is to survive and thrive in the coming years, we need to take advantage of the human, intellectual, and creative resources available right here in our city. We could be diverting tax abatements into financially struggling neighborhoods to encourage property maintenance, home ownership of existing properties, and encourage our existing neighborhood communities a sense of ownership and pride. We could be encouraging local Akron-based individuals to reinvest in their own neighborhoods' vacant properties to be preserved and turned into green space or urban farms. We could be turning large tracts of land like the Route 59 corridor into sustainable energy corridors. And there are hundreds of people with hundreds of ideas, bigger and better than mine, that if implemented would make Akron into a thriving, growing, leading city in our region, not only financially, but in the intangible resources like civic pride and emotional investment, which are equally important to growth, carrying us way beyond the second half of the 21st century. Instead, a fracking deal like this would drag us backward into the mid-20th century, back when unrestricted industrial development caused man-made disasters like the burning of the Cuyahoga River and the near extinction of the bald eagle. You, our city council members, need to be willing to invest in Akron's future rather than chasing a fast and cheap profit with limited return and what will most certainly result in long-term damage. City council must reject the mineral rights deal and protect Ladue Reservoir. Thank you.
Yes, hi, my name is Carrie Chu. I'm a resident of Auburn Township, and our property backs up to Ladue Reservoir, and I am opposed to the hydraulic fracking near Ladue Reservoir, and our address is 18440 May Court. Thank you.
Hawkins, I live at 17518 Auburn Road, Township, and I very much object to the fracking under Ladue Reservoir. Well, and I find it very objectionable that you're thinking of doing fracking under Ladue Reservoir. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Hi, my name's Mike Brand, and I want to state that I'm definitely against fracking at Ladue Reservoir. That's a water source for Akron. We don't need fracking in our water source. My address is 2989 Stonebrook Lane. Thank you. Take care.
Hello, this is Jude Holder. I live with my father, Ralph Spresser, on Hemlock Point Road in Geauga County. My father has lived in this house 40 years or so. We have a well. He is 101 years old. He grew up in Michigan, where most of our relatives still reside and a lot of friends. Michigan has had lots of fracking. We have one friend who lost his house. He turned on the water spigot one morning to fracking, and natural gas came out. The actual spigot in the kitchen. The public is not allowed to know what chemicals are being put into the water system. We also have already a track record in many other states, excuse me, of lots and lots and lots, up to the thousands of tiny earthquakes due to the pancaking when the shale oil is extracted. There are so many reasons to not do this. The main one is our drinking water. If we lose that, we lose our health, we lose the value of our homes. 97% of us in Geauga are in wells. The water table matters massively. Don't do this. Please don't do this. Do not frack in the Ladue Reserve. Thank you kindly.
Hello, my name is Daniel Woods. I live at 210 Mallard Point Drive, Akron, Ohio. I'm calling to say that I join with the many organizations and individuals that have already voiced their opposition to the deal allowing DP Energy Auburn to horizontally frack onto 475 acres of city-owned land at the watershed. All of us who live in the Akron watershed, especially those of us who are raising families, who have children drinking the water, do not want to see a disaster occur and do not want to see a degradation of our natural environment. So I hope that you will listen to the many voices who are opposing this deal. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lori Bain. I live at 11098 Crackle Road in Auburn Township, Ohio. I'm calling to express my opposition to fracking anywhere near the Ladue Reservoir. Living in a watershed area, we are asked to protect your water supply by reporting spills and refraining from activities that would potentially pollute the reservoir. As a community that relies on wells, we are asking that you do the same for us. Please don't encourage fracking around Ladue by allowing drilling under the reservoir. While the dangers of fracking are still being discovered, fracking is proving to be dangerous to the environment, animals, and people in the area. I'm not going to list them all here, but look at the research and instances where babies are born premature and people are dying from cancer. When you turn on your shower in your home to bathe yourself or a child, do you worry that your water is slowly poisoning you? If you encourage fracking by selling the mineral rights, you are putting us in that situation. My cousin fell victim to a cancer cluster, dying at the age of 6 after suffering most of his short life. Therefore, in choosing a home, it was very important to me to find a safe location for my family. It took us 5 long years to find a dream house, but I fear that it is being put in jeopardy. If our well becomes poisoned by fracking, we will lose what we worked so long and hard for. It will be unsafe to stay, but financially difficult for us to leave since our property will no longer have value. It's obvious that the city of Akron takes protecting its water seriously, as shown by the information on your own watershed division website. Please live up to those words and not only protect your water, but ours as well. Thank you for listening.
Hello, my name is Justin Fiorelli. I live in Manaway, Ohio. So while I am outside of the city of Akron, I went to school at the University of Akron, spent a lot of time in the area. Anyways, I'm calling about the Ladue Reservoir public land that's for sale or lease, whatever the case may be, for the fracking situation. I strongly oppose that. I live about 1 mile from that proposed land site, and I spent a lot of time around Ladue, kayaking and such, and through the woods. And we all have well water in the area. Now, I know there's no guarantee that fracking immediately means that groundwater is contaminated, but it's well documented in many, many cases that the fracking process endangers nearby well water. And I would be concerned as well of the reservoir water itself, being that it's your water source for the city of Akron. Either way, I've been seeing a lot of folks around the area on Nextdoor app, especially, discussing this, and Facebook groups discussing this, and the overwhelming majority of anybody that lives in this area is strongly against it. So we urge you to oppose using that land for fracking purposes. That land is there to protect the reservoir and drinking water, and this would be completely counter to that intention. So again, please oppose this, and I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Susan Oliver, and I live in Auburn Township at 16670 Valley Road, and I am very concerned about the planned fracking. I don't think it's a good thing to do. I don't think it's safe, and I also think it will devalue my property. Thank you.
Hello, this is Caitlin Kohler. I'm a resident of Timbertop Apartments. I'm not comfortable giving my address, but I strongly oppose this fracking deal that the city is trying to push through the meeting tonight. The absolute selfishness of this deal is inexcusable. There are countless studies and data, all easily accessible, that show that fracking contaminates our drinking water, poisons the land and air that we breathe, and puts unnecessary strain on public infrastructure and services, such as our roads and water supply. Beyond poisoning its citizens, the city of Akron will also be destroying precious habitat space, tearing up forests and critical wetlands to install pipelines, roads, and other industrial equipment. As a city so lucky to be so close with a national park, we should be leaning into conservation. Akron has the potential to be a leader in green infrastructure with a holistic development with its community. But we need the elected officials to want to listen to our citizens. We must protect Akron at all costs. I really hope you consider ending this fracking deal. Thank you. Bye.
Hey, how's it going? My name's John. I live on Hampton Knoll. Wanted to tell you to please, not go through with the fracking deal. Fracking is really bad. I've seen all those videos of people's water catching on fire in Pennsylvania. I know it can cause asthma and cancer. We just really don't want to pollute our groundwater. Not to mention all the burning of excess gas. It's very common. It's a quick, easy solution, or at least it looks like one, but it can have really negative consequences for people. I'm not some hippie, I care about people more than I care about, nature or something, but we do have to live here, and fracking can make that a lot harder. And so I hope you oppose that deal. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kenneth Kuja. I live at 11098 Crackle Road in Auburn Township near the Ladue Reservoir. It's come to my attention that the City of Akron is in talks with a local individual to permit the fracking of land near and below Ladue. It has been seen time and time again in different locations that fracking has serious environmental impacts. Living in an area that relies heavily on farming and wells as a source for water, I'm extremely concerned about the health of my family. I hope that you can put aside a temptation for extra revenue and put the health of our community at the same level of your own. I ask that you decline any cooperation with the efforts to frack land around Ladue now and in the future. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sandy Mara. I live at 11365 Normandy Lane, Chagrin Falls, Ohio, which is Auburn Township. I'm calling because I'm very opposed to fracking nearby in Ladue. I'm concerned about how it will affect my well water and how it will affect my property, the value of my property. I think that's all the information you need. Maybe my number is 440-279-7949. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Max Mara. I live at 11365 Normandy Lane, Chagrin Falls, Ohio, and I oppose fracking at Lake Ladue.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm Anthony Mara. I live at 11365 Normandy Lane, and I oppose fracking in this area and don't want it at Ladue Reservation. Goodbye.
Hello, my name is Diane Sherman. I live at 18435 May Court in Auburn Township. I recently became made aware of the DPE Energy Auburn LLC and their offer to the city of Akron. Your councilman is right. There are many gas wells in and around the area, and all of Northeast Ohio for that matter. However, this proposal is hydraulic fracking. Very different, very different. Thank you, Councilwoman Tara Samples. You do need to look at this more closely. There can be much damage to the above ground water in Ladue. Accidental release of fracking fluid and all its chemicals migrate into the surface water and infiltrate aquifers and recharge zones, not to mention all groundwater in the area. It also can have an effect on supply to wells. On-site storage tanks leak. Has DPE Energy explained any details to Council of storage? Will it be an underground tank? Will it be above? Will they haul it away? So many questions that need to be answered. And let's not forget the 109 earthquakes or tremors that happened in a 1 year span in and around Youngstown. That was positively linked by geologists that it definitely came from the fracking wells in the area. Will there be any seismic monitoring? Is expected activity that greater than 1.0 magnitude should halt drilling? Who's going to keep an eye on this? You see, all of these issues and more matter to me. I am your neighbor. Myself and hundreds of other people live in and around Ladue. We enjoy the tranquil lifestyle of the water and the wildlife provide. We depend on clean water in our wells. Never would I have imagined or dreamed that fracking would be allowed in this area, given the fact that Akron City gets supplied some of their water from this above ground damming of Bridge Creek. Why would you do this? I can't imagine. I implore you to not let this happen. Can't you find another way to come up with $237,500? Please be a good neighbor and enjoy the environment and protect the wildlife and be a good neighbor to everyone who lives here. Thank you for listening.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Stice, and I'm a resident of Auburn Township. I'm calling to plead with you to please not allow fracking to take place under Ladue Reservoir. My husband and I moved here 4 years ago from Dallas, Texas with our 5 children. We were drawn to the beauty of this area. In fact, our home backs up directly to the reservoir. And so we are especially concerned of the impact that fracking will have on our family's health, safety, and our beautiful property. As you are well aware, there are terrible risks involved with fracking. There have been many documented cases of fracking creating earthquakes, damaging property, contaminating ground and well water, and killing farmland and wildlife. If you were to allow fracking to take place in Auburn Township on Ladue Reservoir, you would be endangering our entire community, not to mention the city of Akron's water supply. Please don't allow this to happen. Thank you.
Hello, this is William Sherman. I live at 18435 May Court in Auburn Township, Geauga County. I'm calling because I want to voice my very grave concern that Akron City Council would allow DP Energy Auburn LLC to perform fracking in and around the Ladue Reservoir. The dangers of fracking are well documented. There was a good piece by Matt McGrath of the BBC back in 2017 where he documented thousands upon thousands of spills at U.S. oil and gas fracking sites. Please take this into consideration. This is very serious. The fracking water has got some very toxic elements in it, and if that gets into the groundwater around here, it could get into our wells. It could cause all kinds of problems with our drinking water. So I implore you to look at this, keeping the people around here in mind, their welfare, their safety, their property values, etc. And don't do this just because this doesn't occur right in Akron, and you're just looking at the money that would come from it. Please use your conscience on this one. You could do a lot of harm to a lot of good people around here, and I implore you not to let this go. Thank you.
My name is Heather Hillenbrand. I'm a resident of 657 Acton Road, Akron, Ohio, and I'm calling to oppose the lease of mineral rights on publicly owned land in our watershed for fracking. Every American has the right to breathe clean air, drink clean water, and live without fear of exposure to toxic waste. Fracking contaminates our air, water, and soil and contributes to global warming. After investing in protection of our watershed for more than a century, why would we now choose to risk this priceless resource that we all rely on? Please oppose this deal.
My name is Adam Balden. I'm a resident of 657 Exton Road, Akron, Ohio, and I am calling to oppose the lease of mineral rights on publicly owned land in our watershed for fracking. Every American has the right to breathe clean air, drink clean water, and live without fear of exposure to toxic waste. Fracking contaminates our air, water, and soil and contributes to global warming. After investigating in the protection of our water system for more than a century, why would we now choose to risk this priceless resource? Thank you.
My name is Virginia Wyatt. I'm an 1818 stabler in Akron. I've been a resident of Akron my entire life, and I have concerns about the upcoming proposal for fracking at Ladue. We just bought a house that I was planning on growing up in, and I don't want to have to move when my drinking water ends up contaminated from it. This is a high-risk area for fracking because it's on watershed land, and I'm just kind of beside myself that this proposal is even on the table. I'm really not happy about it. That's all for now, anyway.
Hi, my name is Maggie Campbell. I live at 1760 Piedmont Avenue, Akron, Ohio, 44331 or 44310. And I'm calling to make a statement to oppose fracking in Akron. We want to keep our water safe for ourselves and for our children. So absolutely no fracking in Akron. Keep our water system safe, please.
Hello, City Council. My name is Jamila Edwards. I live at 1348 Weather Vane Lane in Akron, Ohio, and I'm calling for City Council to represent its citizens by voting no on leasing our land for fracking. It destroys our community, our water, and our wildlife, and it is something that we all take very seriously. Thank you for your time.
Hi, my name is Tony Pettit. I live at 1356 North Portage Path in the Merriman Valley. I am calling to urge you, if it's not too late, to please vote no on the Riverwoods housing project. I honestly don't feel that the valley can handle the traffic that goes through there currently, let alone adding another 190 some odd houses, along with the housing project at the old Sycamore golf course. I feel like I'm taking my life into my hands when I pull out onto the Portage Path out of my driveway as it is. And my teenage daughter and I like to bicycle on the bike and hike trail. In order to get there, we need to cross Merriman Road at the intersection. And every time we do that, or almost every time, we are practically run over by people going through the intersection. I thank you for your time. And once again, I'm hoping it's not too late to urge you to vote no on the Riverwoods project. Thank you.
Hello, this is Eileen Matthias. I live at 150 South Portage Path, 44302 in Rich-Forsky's district. And I am highly opposed to the fracking for the Ladue Reservoir. Please, no fracking. This is dangerous, it is poisonous, and it's not good in any way, shape, or form for the people or the environment of Summit County. Please, no fracking. Thank you. Goodbye.
Gary Poletto, 12595 Hovey Drive, Chesterland, Ohio, 44026. I've lived in Geauga County most of my life. I'm 65 years old. I've also been an activist and an environmentalist. I fought against the gas stations getting dual liner tanks. I fought against urban sprawl. What you guys are doing is pulling the rug out from the future of the watershed in this area. Do you realize that fracking uses chemicals, evaporation ponds, and other things, chemicals that will destroy the water table in Geauga County? Once you destroy the surface water, all that chemicals will seep into the aquifers, get into the waters that you have for your public in Akron, and eventually the entire water system will be contaminated. The closeness of the aquifers underground where they frack is minuscule between those areas where they're working and the aquifers are. Once you break that wall down underground, you can't go in there and put bricks and cement up to fix it. You guys are destroying the future of the water supply, not just for Akron, but for all of Northeast Ohio, as three rivers originate here, the Grand, Chagrin, and Cuyahoga. You need to seriously think about your action. Money over the future. Think about it. That's what you're deciding. Money is more important than the future. It kind of sounds like what they did in Flint, Michigan. That's what you want to do here. That's where it's going to end up. Just so you know, that's where it will end up. You can bet on it. You're playing with fire. You're playing with chemicals and oil and water. Don't do it. Use your better angels.
Yes, good morning. My name is Michael Lyman. I reside at 624 Ridgeline Drive in Akron, Ohio. It has the Cuyahoga Falls mailing, but I am an Akron resident. I just wanted to present my feelings towards the Riverwoods as well as the Tice development that I know is important and on the agenda this evening. Number one, I would like to just recommend that we do pause and wait until there is a master plan before proceeding with anything regarding those developments. Number two, and probably more importantly, is I am an Akron resident and my children went to Woodridge schools. I truly feel that this is taxation without representation, and our school district is already in a situation where introducing more kids where the school would not be funded by these developments needs to be resolved before it can go forward. That's the partnership and the due diligence I believe Akron needs to work with Cuyahoga Falls on, and I would appreciate your comments on that as well. Thanks for the time to voice my opinion. I appreciate it, and hopefully you guys can pause and think through the right answer. I am all for development, just in a responsible manner, and I know our taxes are higher than many districts, and hopefully you take that into consideration as a neighbor, and also somebody that would have undue burden on Akron residents paying taxes in the Woodridge School District. Thank you.
Hello, City Council members. My name is Tessa Gaffney. I am a resident of Highland Square. I graduated from the University of Akron with my Master's in Arts Administration, and I work in nonprofit in the city. And I'm calling to ask that City Council vote no on leasing our land for fracking. And I am also calling to express opposition to your attempts at silencing public comments. How can you represent us if you won't listen to us? Fracking is dangerous for the community, and community members are trying to reach out to tell you that. And you are removing all the ways for them to do so. Please reconsider. Thank you.
Bryn Olson, 708 Morley Avenue, Akron. Who will protect our water, air, and wildlife? When livestock are killed or harmed due to the dangers of fracking, what will you tell the people who raise them? Uphold your promises to listen to constituents. Do not silence us. Uphold the City of Akron's executive order to consider the environment when implementing policies. Do not choose possible meager profits instead. Uphold the party's platform. Do not choose hazardous actions that put working class people in danger. There are people not being represented politically that will be in danger too. Will their medical bills be paid by the city? Think about the future generations that will inherit this. Will they accept being told the chance of slim profits outweigh their health?
Hello, my name is Tessa Gaffney. I would like to expand on my opposition to the mineral rights lease deal, allowing DP Energy Auburn LLC to horizontally frack onto 475 acres of Akron City-owned land at the Chicago River watershed. Fracking contaminates water, pollutes air, and threatens public health. The pipelines would fragment the forest, inviting invasive species and other issues to the forest ecosystem. The clean water that is needed to frack is pulled from our headwater streams and tributaries, presenting a huge threat to the health of the river. Fracking is not aligned with the city's executive order number 42017, which instructs that all cabinet members, managers, employees, and contractors of the city of Akron are directed to consider the impacts on the environment when implementing policies, proposing new legislation, awarding contracts, and making decisions that affect the city, its neighborhoods, and its citizens. In addition, by leasing these mineral rights, the city may not be eligible for future conservation easement grants. In the past, the city of Akron has taken proactive steps to protect the quality of the Upper Chicago River, which is the source of Akron's drinking water. And it is much easier to maintain high-quality ecosystems than it is to restore them. I am urging you to please vote no on this deal and protect the interests and the livelihoods and the health of your constituents and the place that you live. Thank you.
Hi there, my name is Megan DeLong, and I am a concerned citizen here in Akron. My address is 472 Perkins. I'm in Ward 5. I'm calling to demand that the City Council vote no on leasing our land for fracking. I just don't think it's right to put our watershed in danger just to make more money. I really do think that that is real danger and the opposite of working towards environmentalism that the city has been trying to do. So I would really appreciate it if the City Council would vote no for leasing our land for fracking and stop any idea of selling the mineral rights to anyone, simply because I think it's unsafe for our children, our elderly, just anyone that's living in Akron and anybody that gets our water. So thank you so much. Truly, I'm very scared. I really hope the city doesn't say yes to this as a concerned citizen. Thank you so much. Yeah. Bye.
Hi, good morning. My name is Matt Blasey, 11715 Lancaster Drive in Auburn Township, and I'm just calling to express my opposition to the proposed fracking under Ladue Reservoir. And at this point, I think that there is just unknown environmental consequences to fracking underneath that site. The long-term effects on the water supply within Geauga County or southern Geauga County at this point are unknown, and everyone out here is on well water. I think there's a real possibility of negatively impacting our property values, and that happens to be a real concern shared among a lot of the neighbors out here. You know, God forbid something unexpected occur. We enjoy the rural living out here and really honestly wish to see Auburn Township remain clean and pristine and undamaged by any sort of proposed fracking that's scheduled to take place at the Ladue site. I thank you for listening to this and thank you for this consideration. And once again, I am opposed to the fracking that is scheduled to take place under Ladue. Thank you.
My name is Judy Curiton, JUDYCURETON. I live at 3613 Lakeview Boulevard in Stowe, Ohio. And I'm calling to let you know that I oppose the fracking of the Ladue Reservoir. I would respectfully request that you revisit this issue and decide to go along with me and also oppose the fracking of the Ladue Reservoir. Thank you.
My name is Rachel Madigan at 324 Noble Avenue, Akron, Ohio, 44320. And I just wanted to say that I oppose the fracking under Ladue Reservoir and think that we should focus on listening to the science and not harming possible the drinking water for Akron and the surrounding areas and the environment. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Barbara Partington, Partington. I live at 12345 Rockhaven Road, Chesterland, Ohio, 44026. I live about 5 miles north of the Ladue Reservoir. I'm very familiar with the property and some of the history. So I'm calling about the proposal to sell the mineral rights under the Ladue Reservoir, as apparently the city of Akron needs the money. In the Cleveland.com article, Mr. Ludell did not specify any impact on groundwater in response to the question from Councilman Neal, saying Akron gets its drinking water from surface water, primarily Lake Rockwell. So is Ladue a throwaway property? If so, how about seeking a buyer from a conservation organization to protect it, not pollute it? And clean surface water does depend on clean groundwater. The watershed at Ladue may be of less concern to you than it is to those of us in Geauga County, but over 90% of Geauga residents get their water from wells, which rely on clean groundwater. It's not just the recreational and environmental value of Ladue to its neighbors, it's the protection of the watershed. Even our county commissioners in Geauga County have pointed out that you enjoy this property as tax-free property, and that if your sale of the mineral rights is to bring the city of Akron income, that will have to be redetermined. You don't get to damage Geauga property at no cost to yourself. I'm asking that you make a good choice, be a good neighbor, don't sell the mineral rights at Ladue area watershed to a drilling concern. Thanks so much for listening.
Hello, my name is Michael Carano, a former city council person in Talmadge, Ohio. Though I don't live in Akron, of course, I'm calling in regards to your plan to possibly do fracking up by Lake Ladue. There's a number of problems with that. First of all, many fracking companies, it's been suggested that about 250 companies will go bankrupt by the end of 2021 because of falling prices of oil. And so the small amount of money that you're going to get for this and the possible damage that's gone, creating brownfields that, of course, the public will have to pay for, because of the retention ponds. I don't know if you're aware, but fracking pulls to the earth radioactive materials and heavy metals that are dangerous, that have a good chance of polluting the water supply to clog the river. And since we residents of Talmadge buy Akron water, we'd appreciate it if you would pollute our future water source. It's a small amount of money you're supposed to receive, minuscule really. No matter how much dire situations the city of Akron in, it's not enough to create these brownfields and allow fracking. They're moving away from fossil fuels is where you need to go. The other thing is, I think that in this thing here, it's not just the city of Akron, it's people along the way, Kent and everywhere, that should be taken into consideration. I hope that you will make the right decision for the people of Akron and for the environment and the people all along the route. They had the foresight to buy Lake Ladue 100 years ago or so. Let's have the foresight to protect the environment for the future. Thank you very much. My number is 330-341-9084 if you have any questions. Thank you. Bye.
Hello, City Council. My name is Elise Davis. I am calling because I'm a very concerned citizen of Akron, and I'm calling for the City Council to represent its citizens by voting no on leasing and or selling our land for fracking. It destroys our water and wildlife. This directly impacts the quality of life of our community. And again, please listen to your citizens.
My name is Shelley Chernin. I live at 8650 Beechwood Drive, Novelty, Ohio, 44072. I'm a resident of Geauga County. I'm very concerned about your proposal to lease mineral rights for fracking under your property at Ladue Reservoir. I hope that when you make your decision in this matter, you will remember the golden rule and do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Ladue is important to us in Geauga County for many reasons. Chief among them, our drinking water supply. About 97% of us in Geauga County rely on water wells for our drinking water. Nobody knows how horizontal drilling and fracking will impact the integrity of our groundwater. Experimenting on us for a mere couple $100,000 would be a very unneighborly thing to do. We would not do that to you. There are many of us Geogans who would gladly assist in any way possible if you decide to sell conservation restrictions to protect your watershed lands in Geauga County. We are aware of the conservation feasibility study done by Western Reserve Land Conservancy. That study estimated the value of conservation restriction sales on Akron-owned watershed land at between $22.5 and $30 million. That would be a win-win situation for both Akron and Geauga County, and we hope that you will give it serious consideration. On the other hand, if you decide to use your Geauga County land for short-term profit through the leasing of mineral rights, rather than for the conservation purposes for which that land was acquired, you will risk losing your tax-free status in Geauga County, something that Geauga's county commissioners have already discussed, and an outcome that would likely cost you far more than you'll receive from the proposed mineral lease. Please remember the golden rule and consider your neighbors in Geauga County. We will be good neighbors to you if you are good neighbors to us.
Hi, my name is Andrew Gianni. I live at 393 Sumner Street. I go to the University of Akron, and I'm on the executive board for the University of Akron College Democrats. I'm calling to say that I strongly oppose the fracking that's being considered on city grounds. Thank you. Bye.
Hi, my name is Patrick Cousins, 11340 Bartholomew, Chagrin Falls, 44023, or Auburn Township. Been made aware about your interest in selling rights to fracking by Ladue Reservoir. Strongly urge you to veto this. We know it's a secondary water source for Akron, but for those of us who live around here, the threat of well contamination, pollution of the reservoir itself, lack of recreation, destruction of wildlife habitat are all problems. I had been in contact with Akron in several meetings regarding their logging on the Ladue property. They said minimal damage would be done there. That area is just strewn with debris, multiflora rows. There is runoff. So Akron was totally destroyed, that pristine woodland. And my fear is that, once again, Akron is more interested in the dollar value that they're going to get out of selling these fracking rights, as opposed to the quality of life for thousands of residents in this area. Please reconsider. Thank you.
Hi, this is Seth Klimas. I live at 5048 Winchell Road in Manaway, just south of Ladue Reservoir. Calling to voice my opposition to the Ladue fracking. Fracking is extremely water intensive, uses carcinogenic liquids to extract gas from the shale formations, and leaves you with toxic waste that needs to be disposed of in deep injection wells. It's terrible for the environment, puts the health and safety of Portage, Geauga County, and Akron residents at risk, and goes against the whole reason for owning that land surrounding Ladue, which is to protect the water supply. Thank you. Bye.
Hi, I'm Corey Feiningle and I oppose fracking.
Hello, my name is Wendy Buck, B-U-C-K. I live at 1444 Riverside Drive, Akron, 44310. I'm calling to share that I oppose any fracking anywhere, let alone Akron water. So, well, you guys have a great day. Thanks for what you do. Bye.
Hi, my name is Doug Cullen. I'm calling as a concerned citizen of Akron. I live at 1360 North Howard Street. calling about the proposed fracking operation that may be going on at Ladue Reservoir and selling of the mineral rights to DP Energy Aurora. I know we've been told that there's nothing to worry about because the fracking is thousands of feet under the reservoir, but that ignores thousands of documented cases of contamination, equipment failures, and intentional violations, but also ignores the DP Energy Aurora is brandly new incorporated, has absolutely no safety record to speak of yet at all, and we're being asked to trust them because there are regulations in place. But as of 2018, Ohio had over 60,000 active oil and gas wells. Data shows fewer than 17,000 of these were inspected last year, much less monitored. So I would definitely want to ask everybody on the council there to check out whether, what is that water in the reservoir going to be used for? Is that the water that they're going to be fracking with, for the pressurized operations underground? Are they going to be using what should be drinking water? What chemicals are they going to be dumping into the earth with that? Are they giving you a list of everything that they're putting in that fracking? Or are there some proprietary chemicals that they can't tell you about? Where will the runoff of the fracking fluid go? Have you looked at the seismic faults in the area? Those are all concerns that you should take a close look at. I don't want the council to, be the ones that are looked at when a disaster happens and we end up with something like Flint on our hands. All right, thank you. Bye.
Hi, my name is Kelly Ramirez. I'm a concerned citizen in Wellhaven. I live at 356C Village Point Drive. And I just wanted to express my concern about the fracking at Ladue. I'm very opposed to this, and I really am hopeful that you'll make the correct decision in not allowing fracking in the Ladue Reservation. I appreciate your time and your consideration.
Hey, City of Akron Council. My name is Carl Kellerman. I am a resident of Ward 3, so thank you, Councilwoman Somerville, for representing me. I'm calling today to oppose the fracking measure that the City of Akron is looking to pass. I'm a civil engineering student here at the University of Akron, so through my academic studies, I've done a lot of research into the exact dangers. I will say top line that it might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but eventually any fracking will have a negative impact on the people who are living in and around the city. I think it is totally irresponsible to do this underneath the City of Akron's water supply, and honestly, I'm genuinely shocked that a Democratic City Council would even be considering this. I'd also like to mention how opposed I am to the limiting of email comments during City Council meetings. I believe that this unfairly impacts any folks with certain disabilities, such as people who might be on the autism spectrum, people with public speaking anxiety, deafness, or just a lack of willingness to make a phone call. Before leaving this comment, I had to listen to about 40 seconds or so of pre-recorded information, so I believe that that would definitely impact anyone who has some sort of deafness or anything like that from leaving a comment. To be honest, I'm really disappointed in this decision with democracy limitations like this from the Democratic Party. I don't even know why the Summit County GOP gives it a shot, because what's the point if they can just let the Democrats limit the democracy? I'm very disappointed, and I really hope that council reconsiders the limiting of public comment. Thank you.
Hello, City Council. My name is Tasha Walls. I am a concerned citizen of Akron, and I'm calling for City Council to represent its citizens by voting no on leasing and or selling our land for fracking. It destroys our water and wildlife. This directly impacts the quality of life of our community. Thank you and goodbye.
Hello, my name is Alyssa Figueroa. My address is 1725 Redwood Avenue in Akron, Ohio. I'm calling to urge council not to support the fracking legislation, the lease of our mineral rights at the Ladue Reservoir. As a nurse and as a public health grad student, I am wholly disgusted with the thought that council would possibly even consider tainting our drinking water and the surrounding environment for the mere price of less than $250,000 and an undetermined amount of future profits. Thank you.
My name is Robert Kravick, 18927 Ravenna Road,
Auburn Township, Ohio. I live by Ladue, and my property abuts the Akron Reservoir land just southwest of the proposed fracking site. I suggest you read the EPA report of ways that hydraulic fracturing can impact drinking water resources. Some of these are water withdrawals for hydraulic fracturing in times of areas of low water availability, particularly in areas with limited or declining groundwater resources.
My name is Colleen Miller, and I live at 2380 Fairmont Road, 44313. I'm asking you not to frack the Ladue Reservoir. This is something that the public should be able to vote on, and I would like my lawful opportunity to vote on this matter that is clearly against the city's charter. Please listen to your citizens and allow us to be part of this conversation. Thank you very much.
Robert Kravick, live at 18927 Ravenna Road in Auburn Township, Ohio. I live by Ladue, and my property abuts the Akron Reservoir land just southwest of the proposed fracking site. I suggest you read the EPA report, ways that hydraulic fracturing can impact drinking.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Schmidt, and I live in Medina County in Granger Township. However, I have worked in Akron for quite a number of years in different capacities and considered moving to Akron at various points. I am calling in regards to the council's consideration of selling the mineral rights in order to allow fracking in Akron. And I would strongly urge the council not to do that. Again, as somebody who has thought about moving to Akron and continues to think about moving to Akron and whose livelihood is at least partially based out of Akron and who has friends and loved ones there, I can't even imagine the devastation that could happen if our drinking water was contaminated in Akron. There's no going back, even if it's a small chance that it could happen, which we know with fracking, there's quite a lot of damage that happens. There's evidence of that all over the country, far more that gets reported. But even if it's not likely that it's going to happen or that it's not going to happen in the next couple of years, it's any infiltration of the drinking water will have devastating and irreversible consequences. And so I strongly urge you not to allow this to happen for the health and the safety of all the people living in Akron, but also for the integrity of the government. The council should be looking out for the people of the city and its surrounding counties, as we are also affected by what happens with watersheds, not corporate rights, not corporations' ability to make money off the city. The deal isn't even very good financially for the city. So again, please do not allow this to happen. My number is 234-802-5560. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Yeah, this is Stephen Papora speaking against the Corral Restaurant. I've been trying to get on your site here, but I'm not. Actually, I'm on the live meeting, but I just wanted to voice my opinion again that I'm against the Corral on 1006 South Arlington Street. Stephen Papora here, but thank you.
Hi, my name is Melissa Shealy. I'm calling to oppose the fracking ordeal happening in Akron. My phone number is 330-573-7044, and my address is 495 Letchworth Drive. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Michael Clayton, and I oppose the fracking deal. My number is 330-338-5408 if anyone has any further questions. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Akron City Council. My name is David Wheeler. I live on Greenwood Avenue here in Akron, Ohio, and I am calling about the fracking site that might be going back to committee and voted on eventually for the city of Akron. I am opposed to it. I believe that the sale is not a good one. It's not a good deal for Akron. The over $200,000 and 15% that we get afterwards is minuscule for a site that poses a hazard to our drinking water. There are countless articles showing that fracking sites are not well inspected and that wastewater containing chemicals that are harmful to human health have seeped out and contaminated many streams along the nation. And even with any chance of that happening to Akron water, you should vote against it. This vote should die in committee and not be brought forth anymore. Thank you for taking time to listen to our remarks, and I hope you have a good day.
Hello, my name is Sharon German. My address is 9124 Lake in the Woods Trail in Bainbridge Township. I heard about the possibility of fracking under Lake Ladue, and that is very concerning to me because there was another part of Bainbridge that had fracking, and their homes experienced earth tremors, loud blasts, and even fire coming from their faucets. They had to go from well water to city water. In addition, I enjoy Lake Ladue for all of my summer activities, and I see people also kayaking and fishing, and I would hate for that water to somehow be tainted so that nobody could enjoy it, and even the residents of Akron for their drinking water. I would hope that you would take our comments as sincere as we just want to hope for the best for our community and keeping our community and our natural resources safe. I appreciate you listening and thank you very much. Goodbye.
Hi, my name is Meredith Morgan. I live at 3574 Ridgewood Road, 44333. I know that's Copley. I'm at the age where I'm thinking about looking for a place to downsize, a smaller place. I don't think that I want to get my water from the Ladue Reservoir if there's fracking going on nearby. Would make me think twice about moving to Akron. I don't think that your fracking proposal is good for the environment. I don't think it's in your city charter. I think that's got to be voted on. Anyway, what you're doing about the Ladue Reservoir is out in the public and people know, and people like me are convinced that that would be a bad step for Akron. So I'm against the fracking at Ladue Reservoir. Thank you.
This is Andrea Trimmer, 9704 Taylor May Road in Geauga County, right down the street from Ladue. Wanted to voice my concern about the potential fracking that is being considered and the effect that could have on the residents of Geauga County that live near Ladue. I shouldn't say almost, absolutely everyone who lives near Ladue has well water. There's no way you can guarantee the safety of our water supply by fracking under that reservoir. Please consider not only the citizens of Akron, but those who live in the area where you're considering allowing the fracking to occur. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Hallie Bowie, Bowie, and I live at 1867 Brookshire Road in Akron, Ohio, and I am calling to oppose the fracking under the Ladue Reservoir. I think that the combination of fracking being a bad idea anyhow and putting our drinking water at risk just doesn't make sense. Thank you very much.
My name is Patty Cabot. I live on Valley Road. It's 17170 Valley Road in Auburn Township, Ohio. This is a comment about proposed fracking under Ladue. I'd like to say that I am very much opposed to that I think it endangers the groundwater of everybody that lives along through here, and I frankly find it surprising that the city of Akron would consider doing that with their water source. I just wanted to say that I am diametrically opposed to it. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.
Hi, my name is Kelly Senator. My address is 9775 Horseshoe Drive.
Auburn Township. I've been notified of the fracking that is going to possibly be happening under Ladue. I have a great concern for that as we have well water, and I do not want my water to be contaminated. And I'm pretty sure that actually most of Auburn Township is well water. So I would appreciate there not be fracking under Ladue. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Beth Field. I live at 1111 Cherry Avenue, Akron, Ohio. And I am calling as I'm the COO and Director of Programming for the Big Love Network. Last time I spoke before this body was to give the long history of suburbanization and ghettoization that has gotten us to a 0.5 Gini index in wealth inequality. As the development in the valley continues to subsidize wealthy developments with a 15-year tax abatement, I still do not support a yes vote on that, although I am proud of City Council for going ahead and putting restrictions on a developer and encourage you to continue to do that. I'm also here to tell you to vote no on selling our mineral rights to DP Energy Auburn. There are lots of campaign financing issues, economic environmental costs that will be devastating. When methane gas on this fault line sink into our drinking water, it will worsen our health disparities in our city significantly, and the specific disparities that are really bad, that we are really bad at. The only reason that they're even allowed to do this is because of the repeal of the Clean Water Act in 2019, and they are trying to push this through before Biden reinstates the Clean Water Act. Please do not be fooled. There are also, this affects 7,500,000 people's drinking water, and not all of them are represented here. This also goes against city charter laws, and we are asking you to not break our own laws. I would also like to say that I am deeply concerned as a citizen. My heart is broken that the city would even consider such a grievous violation to our health and well-being as a city. They took something that could be really wonderful, like preserving our drinking water, and are allowing to sell that off for some campaign financing. That breaks my heart. I really know that Akron is better than that. I know that we can build a green city on a hill. I have faith in us. I hope that you do too, and you don't allow for this awful, awful thing to happen to our citizens. Please do not do this to our citizens. Thank you for your time.
Hi, my name is David Clayton. I live at 90 Walhaven Drive in Akron, Ohio, and I oppose the fracking. Please do not frack. I don't want it. No one does. So, yeah, I'm just calling to leave that. I want that to be known that I oppose this. So thank you very much. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jacqueline Blake. I live at 86 Walhaven Drive, and I've been a resident of Akron for about 8 years now. I'm calling in regards to the potential plan to sell mineral rights to open up fracking near our water source. As a resident of Akron, I'm really disappointed that City Council would even consider this, especially in the middle of a global pandemic. You know, we are a year into this pandemic, and your residents are barely hanging on, and it really feels like the timing of this fracking deal is during a time when we're already really suffering so that we don't notice. And I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed that the folks that are considering this deal also have received a lot of money and funding from the oil company in question. It's also really sketchy that this oil company only opened last month. So, Akron residents, I really truly hope that members of the council will vote no on selling our mineral rights. I hope that you'll consider more sustainable ideas
for energy in Akron. Drilling for minerals is not sustainable, nor is it a long-term plan. So again, I really hope that members of the council will vote no on this measure. Our drinking water is far more important than any amount of money that you could be making from this deal. And frankly, I really just don't want to see Akron become another Flint, Michigan. We're better than that, City Council. So please vote no. We want good drinking water. We don't want fracking. We want sustainable measures so that Akron can continue being a thriving city, not toiling in environmental problems that fracking causes, because there's a lot of issues that come with fracking. So thank you for your time. Please vote no. Please don't bring fracking into Akron. It's a bad idea. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Cindy Bechter-Smith. I live at 936 West Bath Road. I'm calling to ask Akron City Council not to allow fracking at the Ladue Reservoir. I think that it needs to be voted on by the citizens of Akron. I appreciate you following the charter so that happens. Thank you.
Hello, this is Karen Starr, residing at 1000 Margate Drive in Akron 44313. I am calling in opposition to the proposed lease of city-owned land at Ladue Reservoir to DP Energy Auburn for fracking. I truly believe this is a short-sighted decision with low return and short-term financial gains, but it really has the serious potential for major long-term negative environmental impact. It'll threaten the Cauga River watershed and our drinking water. Please do not sell the rights. The citizens of Akron deserve to have our drinking water protected. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Abby Drennan, Akron citizen residing at 81 Mayfield Avenue in Ward 1, and I'm calling to voice my opposition to the sale of mineral rights at Ladue Reservoir to DP Energy Auburn LLC to horizontally frack on over 400 acres of city-owned land at the watershed. I didn't see this issue on the agenda for tonight's meeting, but I also didn't want to miss my opportunity to speak out against this possibility. I understand the city needs revenue, but personally, I would love for us to consider more environmentally friendly options than fracking or the sale of land for those purposes. This deal is incredibly short-sighted and threatens the future of our drinking water supply. We've already done so much to improve our water system to meet EPA standards, that allowing for fracking in our water supply would be a huge step backwards to this progress. Please reconsider this deal and do not sell out our water supply to fracking. Additionally, if there are more details about this proposed deal that could be shared with Akron residents, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much for listening.
My name is Jordan Cottrell, and I live at 135 Monroe Falls Avenue, Monroe Falls, Ohio, 44262, and I oppose fracking in the city of Akron. The Akron chapter of the Democratic Socialists of America stated it succinctly in their statement on the issue when they wrote that, quote, fracking contaminates water, pollutes air, and threatens public health. Fracking is not aligned with the City of Akron's Executive Order 4/2017, which instructs that all cabinet members, managers, employees, and contractors of the City of Akron are hereby directed to consider the impact on the environment when implementing policies, proposing new legislation, awarding contracts, and making decisions that affect the city, its neighborhood, and its citizens. With this, the decision to prioritize the growth of the economy must be equally as important as prioritizing environmental concerns and the public health and safety of Akron citizens. Again, pulling from this statement from the DSA, they write that every American has the right to breathe clean air, drink clean water, and live without fear of exposure to toxic waste. And this is precisely why it would be immoral and irreparable to make this decision to proceed with fracking in the Akron area. Thank you.
Hello, City Council. My name is Henyum Cho, and I live on 82 Grand Avenue in Highland Square. I am a concerned citizen of Akron, and I am calling the City Council to represent its citizens by voting no on leasing and or selling our land for fracking. It destroys our water and our wildlife. This directly impacts the quality of life for our community. Please reconsider and don't let this happen. Thank you.
Hi, this is Scott Moyer, 15 Alfred Avenue, Akron, Ohio, 44310. And concerning the issue of drilling underneath and nearby our water supply, Ladue Reservoir, I think it seems both risky and controversial to do so. I don't know, I really don't understand why the city would take this risk. According to the mayor's recent letter to the editor, one of the main goals of the city is to grow the population. Throughout history, people have settled in certain areas because of a good, clean water source. So why would we risk or even consider gambling with our good, clean water source? Also, it seems the relationship between the city and newly formed DP Energy Auburn LLC is a little bit on the cozy side. So for the reasons of transparency and also, you know, our water supply, I ask to vote against this, strongly urge this be voted against, and we find another way to make a few dollars. Thanks. Bye.
Hi, my name is Kaylin Grove. I live at 159 Store Avenue, Akron, 44302, and I'm just calling to ask the City Council to please oppose the deal authorizing fracking at the Ladue Reservoir. Thanks.
Greetings. I am Bill Nesbitt, B-I-L-L, and Nesbitt, N-E-S-B-I-T-T, at the phone 330-B79-2235-1155 Diagonal Road, Akron, Ohio, 44307. Thank you for your attention and your indulgence. Again, reestablishing the Akron Bureau of Public Utilities at its original high-speed location, I believe, is something we owe to our Akron citizenry, I hope. Citizenry. Again, the additional exposure to regular and traveling, not fair to anyone. And with the new strain of COVID virus, we have additional dangers. Many people traveling in cars are making less travel, even locally, due to the situation. So let alone those who travel by bus need additional protection from gathering in additional groups. Having at least a drop-off box returned to the high street location would be a great aid. Let us do that if you would. And I think Councilman Malik, Councilman Shabazz Malik, for his attention and discussion, and also recently Councilman Michael Friedman. So thank you greatly all for your again. All have a great 2019-2021 spring, winter time year.
Hi, my name is Ian Gilmore. I am a citizen of Kent, Ohio, 505 Irma Street. I am an ecologist and conservationist, and I am calling to speak on behalf of the fracking development around in Portage County near the Lake Pippin. I am of the opinion that the city of Akron should pursue other options for economic development and bringing in revenue for the city. There are huge environmental concerns regarding the fracking in terms of water quality, pollution, drinking water contamination, not to mention geology and earthquakes that could result from fracking. During this time, I think it is important that the city pursue environmentally friendly options and sustainable energy development in light of climate change and to protect our natural resources. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jillian Smith. I live at 11685 Lancaster Drive in Chagrin Falls, Ohio, 44023. And I am calling on behalf of the proposed fracking under Ladue Reservoir. I significantly and wholeheartedly oppose this. I live very close to Ladue Reservoir, and I have a well system. The ability for leaching and causes to ruin my well and cause harm to my family and my neighbors around me for their own wells is a very
fearful thing that I have, and I would not like that to happen. I would like to oppose and make my statement that I do not agree with fracking for under Ladue Reservoir. I know that the water area is Akron drinking water, but the ground and area around it is Auburn and Chagrin Falls residents that would be affected greatly by that decision. So thank you very much. Have a great day.
Again, this is Bill Nesbitt. Just for correctness, along with Councilman Shamaz Malik, I think also Brad McKittrick, Councilman, for his discussion also. So justice can be of aid, and I trust be of the correct aid to our citizenry. All have a great 2021 year.
Hi, my name is Chris Troy, Treu. I live at 18470 May Court in Auburn Township. My property abuts Ladue Reservoir, and I am calling to indicate my concern about the horizontal drilling that is apparently being considered for the surrounding areas around Ladue, which I don't know the details of how close they come to my property, but I understand they're going to be on the south side of Ladue, and we reside on the south side of Ladue. No one has contacted me about this or considered my thoughts about this, so I was just advised about this a few days ago, and so I'm calling to voice my opposition and request for additional information. My concern, obviously, is for the groundwater. We are all well water folks here, and we rely on the groundwater for everything. So I'm very concerned about the effects of any horizontal drilling in this area on the aquifer and the availability of our water, and concerns for denigration of the water. And would appreciate having input and at least information about this before this proceeds. Again, my name is Chris Troy, KRISTREU, 18470 May Court in Auburn Township, and I appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nick Castioko, 41 Marshall Avenue, Akron, Ohio. Good evening, City Council members. First, I just wanted to start by saying that I find it quite alarming, the decision to further limit residents' ability to have their concerns expressed to City Council. The choice to eliminate email messages is both ableist and anti-democratic. I ask you to simply reflect on how this rule will impact non-English speakers and some folks in the deaf and mute communities, especially in light of recent attacks on the very center of our democracy. I would hope this governing body would be more committed to the principles of deliberation and participatory democracy. Second, I again want to express my concerns of the Ladue fracking legislation that's been referred back to committee. Aside from the very real and clear environmental concerns, I'm very concerned that I've yet to see a public statement from City Council members and the mayor on their very obvious campaign ties to the owner of DP Energy Auburn, his family, and his business partners. Council members Jeff Fusco, Ginger Baylor, Bill Lombardo, and Shamus Malik have all received direct campaign contributions either from the owner of DP Energy Auburn, his family, or both. In addition, Akron Mayor Horgan has received thousands of dollars from these very same people. I'm calling on City Council members to seriously consider investigating these matters more closely. For example, according to campaign finance records, every donor to Mayor Horgan's campaign at a, quote, social or fundraising event, end quote, on November 13th, 2018 was either the owner of DP Energy Auburn, his family member, or a business partner. What was the nature of this campaign? What was the nature of this campaign event? Who was in attendance and what was discussed? These are questions that desperately need answered. I look forward to public comments on these matters from all City Council members and Mayor Horgan. Thank you and have a good night.
We do not want any fracking going around near Ladue. All of our friends enjoy going fishing there, going in their canoes, and I think it's terrible that you are going to try to take over and kill the fish and stuff. So,
and my name is Judy McGreal, capital M, small c, Greal. I live in 4591 Winchell Road, Manaway, Ohio, 44255. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Zach Friedas, resident of West Hill at 115 Oakdale Avenue. I wish to share my grave concerns about the City of Akron's interest in selling our mineral rights under the Ladue Reservoir to DP Energy Auburn for fracking. This issue involves our drinking water, not only our drinking water, but the water of some 750,000 area residents. Even if the risk is low, a toxic fracking spill, contamination, dumping, or other such event could pose consequences forever. We have no way of fully cleaning up toxic fracking spills, and the money the city is requiring DP Energy to hold in insurance will in no way cover the amount of cleanup that can be done. So the taxpayers of Akron will be made to pay for this mistake. But in this situation, all people of Akron are made to pay with their health. There's a wealth of science available on the deleterious health effects of fracking, including causing infant mortality and other issues involving children and pregnant women, an issue that sees Akron already at the bottom of the list nationally. Is the health of our people worth this $237,000? Akron has a regulation for no gasoline-powered boats on the Ladue to minimize risk of contamination. Is not fracking a greater risk than gasoline-powered boats? Gasoline is bad for water, but toxic waste consisting of at least 36 known carcinogens and neurotoxins is surely worse, especially if those chemicals last forever. Is our clean drinking water worth only $237,000? The issue with fracking is that it's risky. No matter what company does it, no matter where, there's a chance of some major ill effects. Earthquakes have been attributed to fracking, and there's a fault line underneath the gas field involved in this sale. Up to 82% of wells are not inspected or are under-inspected according to a plain dealer investigation based on ODNR's own data. Additionally, fracking wells average 1 to 5 million gallons of water needed. This water is taken completely out of the water cycle to never return. Where is that water coming from? Ladue? The Cuyahoga River? The Chagrin River? The streams that the local community relies upon for their drinking water in fields and crops? It'd be bad enough to put at risk the folks that live around this land. It would be bad enough to put the headwaters and all of the Cuyahoga River at risk. It'd be bad enough to put the drinking water of 750,000 people at risk. It'd be bad enough to put the potential for another health crisis on top of our existing health crises. We have a choice right now. We can look forward, as the mayor outlined in Executive Order 4-2017, supporting the Paris Accord, to a community that values equity, health, sustainability, community, and justice as the lens through which all decisions are made. A future where we take seriously our role as those who are only borrowing this land from our grandchildren. Or we can continue in the ways of the past, ways that are choking the life out of the planet, ways that perpetuate injustice and help disparity and keep racism alive and well. As Amanda Gorman wrote in Hill We Climb, we know our inaction and the inertia will be the inheritance of the next generation. Our blunders become their burdens. Let us use our time and energy here and now to unburden the next generations. Oppose this deal. Their future is worth more than $200. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Laura Goodwin, and I live in Norton, but I have family members that live in Akron. But my message is this: the Cuyahoga River in the headwaters was deemed by a congressional act, an act of Congress. It's part of the Wild and Scenic Rivers Act. So in other words, it's illegal to do anything to that part of the river. So if anyone wants to try to frack near Ladue, they're going to be breaking the law. I haven't heard that point made yet, so I'm making it now. Thank you.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Harrington Hargrove. I live at 1008 Lowell Avenue, Akron, 44307. And I'm calling in reference to the Elevate Akron study. And I'm asking the council, when I come down there, it's been said that I come down there with animosity. I do not. I come down there to ask the city to help the black community. And I would like for someone in the city, matter of fact, I would like my council person, Margot Somerville, to relate to the city. I come down there in peace. I come down there in reference to elevate my community. I I volunteered for this because the community is crying out for city help. And so I guess I was elected to be the spokesperson for our community. And so please, council, I come down there just for the fact that I would love to see an improvement in my community. I live in Ward 3, and I'm proud of it. And we just need assistance from the city so we can move our community forward. Thank you very much, council. I really appreciate the time. And please, council, the things that I say, give them an ear. And let's move this forward, the upliftment of our communities. I thank council very much. And may God bless you and keep you. Thank you and goodbye.
Hello, my name is Ashley Suzelis at 2626 3rd Street in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. City Council, I am a concerned citizen of Akron, and I'm calling for City Council to represent its citizens by voting no on leasing and or selling our land for fracking. It destroys our water and our wildlife, and this directly impacts the quality of life of our community. It is unnecessarily dangerous. Thank you.
That concludes the public comment period this evening.
All right, thank you so much. I want to thank all the people who participated in our public comment period, and definitely want to say it was good hearing from all of you. I know many of the remarks were specifically concerning mineral rights at Lake Ladue, and so we want residents to know that that issue will come before this body, Akron City Council, on Monday, February 22nd. And just as many of you have many questions and concerns, there are many members of Akron City Council who do also have many questions and concerns, and we look to have those conversations February 22nd. So again, we want to thank all of you for participating and sharing your thoughts and your concerns with us on tonight. At this time, we will go into our committee assignments, rules. Councilman Freeman.
3 p.m.
Public Safety, Councilman Kamer.
2:15.
Budget and Finance, Councilman Freeman.
3 p.m.
Parks and Rec, Councilman Neal.
1:45.
Planning and Economic Development, Councilman Fusco.
1 o'clock, but I'd also like to remind council that we, after reviewing the capital budget, we will be asking for a vote next Monday. However, during the week here, please get with me if you have any ideas about the budget whatsoever, any questions whatsoever in reference to the budget. Like I said, we'll see an amendment probably next week as it will change a bit. And so thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Fusco. Public Service, Councilwoman Samples.
2 p.m.
Health and Social Services, Councilwoman Amobian.
2:30.
Housing and Neighborhood Assistance, Councilman Fusco.
Subject to call.
Public Utilities, Councilman Swirsky. I'll help you a little bit, 2:30.
2:30.
Oh, he still remembers. Good. All right, awesome. It's so good to see Councilman Swirsky online with us today. So I just wanted to mention, thank you. Good seeing you on the other end here. Is there anything else coming before council at this time?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn. I do see Councilman Malik's hand.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I know that it's late, but I appreciate that we have a specific date when we'll consider this issue that clearly has raised so many concerns with so many of our residents, so many of our neighbors in Portage and Geauga County. So I look forward to that discussion. And I'm also just so glad to see Councilman Swirsky. put a smile on an otherwise difficult day.
I'm glad to see him too.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And so we have a motion and a second for an adjournment. If there are no objections, meeting adjourned.
This concludes the live broadcast of Akron City Council. Margot Somerville,